Hello everybody, welcome to the class of business strategy, and today's topic is rebuilding your strategy for digital transformation. My name is Sang-Hwa Lee. I'm the professor of the Handong Global University. I'm teaching the students at the Global Entrepreneurship and ICT. Okay, so far we have gone through the process of building the business strategies with the 5 steps very systematically, starting from the gap analysis to the implementation of the strategies. And I also introduced the Professor Cespedes' aligning strategy and sales in the real world. Okay, I also introduced the concept of the SWOT analysis in my previous class. That's also a useful tool in developing the business strategies. Today I changed the topic entirely because the basic concepts and the processes of building the business strategies are already covered, and so from today I want to bring some of the interesting topics relating to the building the business strategies, and that could be very proper for you to understand to those trends and strategies, and which could be useful in your way of learning the business buildings. Okay, what is digital transformation? Okay, today's topic is rebuilding our strategy in digital transformation. Okay, what is digital transformation? Digital transformation is, according to the What is Digital Transformation by the Enterprises Project from enterprisesproject.com. That is defined as the integration of digital technology into all areas of a business. So, in simple terms, we apply the digital technologies as of today into all areas of the businesses, and that's we call the digital transformation. And why is digital transformation important nowadays? Because the integration of the digital technologies into all areas of a business nowadays are fundamentally changing how we operate and deliver value to the customers. Okay, the reason the company exists in the world is to create and deliver value to the customers, and that's the mission of the company. And then digital transformation changes the fundamental way of creating and delivering value to the customers. So that's why we have to think very carefully about digital transformation nowadays. Digital transformation not only changes fundamentally about how to deliver the value to the customers, that also bring the changes in the corporate cultures. That requires organizations to continually change the status quo. The status quo means that the situation as is. So that means digital transformation challenges the current status of how the company is organized and operates. And then they challenges to experiment, and then they challenges to get comfortable with failures. What does it mean, comfortable with the failures? Okay, in the previous paradigm where we lived, the success was the best value we are pursuing, and we have to avoid the failure as possible, as much as possible. But it's the same. The success is good, failure is bad. But if we try to avoid failure, in the past it was more or less possible. But nowadays, the outside environment around us is more uncertain, and even though we do our best to avoid the failures, there are more chances of making failures in our journey to do the business. So in that case, if the failure is inevitable, we have to find a way to get comfortable with the failures. So that means instead of having the big failures, it's better to have small failures, and the learning from the failure is important. And finally, recovering from the failure is more important. So digital transformation requires fundamental changes in the business model, delivering the value to the customers, and also it requires cultural changes that the organization challenges the status quo, the organization to experiment, and then organization to get comfortable with the failures. So that means digital transformation may affect the company in a lot of fundamental ways. So in the digital transformation, we have to think about, we have to revisit building our strategies again. Why does digital transformation matters? As I have mentioned a little bit in my previous slide, digital transformation becomes a survival issue to most of the companies. It's something we have to do. It's not something we may choose. We may not choose the digital transformation. Once we like this digital transformation, we may choose this one, or if we do not like digital transformation, we may not choose the digital transformation. That's not something like that. Digital transformation is not a choice to the customers. Digital transformation is a must, something we have to do, we have to pursue in the current environment, business environment. It's a survival issue whether we are adopting the digital transformation well or not. That's why digital transformation matters. Why digital transformation becomes a survival issue? There are two main drivers. Digital transformation becomes a survival issue to most of the companies. The first one was surprise becomes new normal in doing the business nowadays. So according to the Roosevelt Moss Kender, who is the professor of the Harvard Business School, MTMD becomes short, MTBS becomes shorter than MTMD. What does that mean? MTMD stands for mean time for making decision. So every company has, it takes some time for the company to make a decision. And based on the every company may have this different time for making decisions. Some bureaucratic companies, it may take more time to make decisions. And for startups who are quickly adapting to the environmental changes, they may, to the startups, the mean time for making decisions might be very short. Okay. And in general, mean time for making decision becomes shorter. So that means facing a lot of uncertainties and a lot of events, the companies are required to make a decision faster than before. Okay, it's inevitable when we understand that we have to make a decision faster, quickly than before. And what does MTBS stand for? MTBS means mean time between surprise. What does surprise mean in building the business strategy? Surprise can be defined as any unpredicted event materially affects the decision being made. So in making the decisions, any unpredicted event which may affect the company's business significantly, we may call it surprise. And mean time between surprise becomes short. So that means there are lots of important events are happening in the course of our businesses that may make our environment of the business more uncertain. And it's tricky that such a surprise becomes new normal. Nowadays, surprise, that is the unpredicted event, can happen at any time. So it's the normal to have a lot of surprises in the middle of our businesses. And to make things worse, MTBS, that means mean time between the surprise, becomes shorter than mean time for making decisions. So even before we make decision, the surprises are happening more often than not. So even though we try our best to make a quick decision, we cannot catch up with the speed of the happening of the surprise. That highlights the uncertainties of the business environment nowadays. That's why digital transformation becomes a survival issue than a choice to the companies. And in addition, it is unpredictable how digital technology such as AI or clouding service would change the future of our lives. Okay. Under the era of the fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence and the deep learnings and the big data are very important technological advancement. And we have no idea how such ideas would change the future of our lives. And also, COVID-19 pandemic accelerates digital transformation. Okay, according to the executive from Korn Ferry is executive search firm from the United States. And according to the executive from the Korn Ferry, today, with a vast portion of the workforce now remote, employee experience of digital technology has gone from nice to have to the only work gets done. The only way work gets done. So Korn Ferry is one of the best HR consulting firm about the human resources. And the executive of the Korn Ferry says, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of work is now done remotely. Okay, now in the situation of working remotely, employees are experiencing digital technology, and having such digital technology or the experience is gone from nice to have to the only way work gets done. I'm now having the class of the business strategy, right, remotely. So I use relevant software skills to capture my classes, and then I send it to the operator, the administrator of the program, and then they will send my lecture video clips to the students who may need the contents of this class. And then they will also use some digital technologies in playing my classes online. So without the digital technologies, we cannot make anything done. How can I have a lecture to the students in the university in Mongolia without such great digital devices in place? So when I work remotely from the places from my office in South Korea, mastering and experiencing the digital technology is the only way work gets done. Okay, so that's why digital transformation becomes a survival issue to the company as well as to most of the individuals. So digital transformation really matters in a business environment where surprise becomes new normal, and where we use state-of-the-art digital technologies. And also COVID-19 pandemic accelerates digital transformations. The explosive development of the digital technologies would create new business opportunities. Okay, let's go back to my previous classes.